Hey guys, Anthony here. It's Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. I wanted to just talk about the preparation of people in our community, in our sphere of influence, in our comings and goings, people we see in the marketplace and around the community. What are your feelings? And you could type this out in the comments section. I need some coffee. Excuse me. What are your feelings on their level of preparation? Last night I was at the gym and I got to talking to a neighbor that I know, from walking his dog. I meet a lot of people in my community by just walking my dogs. In fact, I know my wife's like, "How do you know that person? How do you know that lady?" Like I'm out talking to all the ladies in the community. How do you know her? How do you know him? I'm like, I see them when I walk my dog. Sometimes we stop, the dogs, play with each other or bark at each other. We talk. And I happen to meet a lot of people that way in the community. So this gentleman, his son and his wife, they were at the gym last night working out. I happened to see him. He just had knee surgery, so he's recovering from that. He's on like temporary disability at home, and and so we were talking about his job and his, how his knees are doing. This is his second knee replacement surgery, and how he's recovering. He's finding it hard to bend his leg all the way, and so I was helping him with giving him some pointers on what to do in the gym. Fitness wise. I'm not a physical therapist, but I was showing him some things that can help him down the road. Um, so I don't know how it came up, but we ended up talking about a lot of conversations that I have with people always end up with, can you believe how bad our country's going? What type of trajectory the country's taking? Or can you believe, Joe Biden and how incompetent he is? And, so it always starts with something like that. Or, I can't wait until the next election when Donald Trump gets in again and, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be great. He's going to somehow come in and the next day he's going to fire 1 million people that work in the government, get rid of the swamp, and all law and order is going to be reinstated. All millions of people that have come here illegally, men of military age, are going to be sent back to their country of origin, and it's just going to be great. All inflation's going to end. We're going to get out of all these treaties that we're in, and not have to participate in them, and get back our sovereignty and follow the Constitution, and it's just going to be great. And so that's the furthest thing from the truth of what's going to happen. At any rate, I'm talking to the gentleman, and he brings up the crisis that we're in now and how corrupt government is. And if you look up that word, corruption, it's the main factor that infects the whole world. Corruption. People are corrupted. Politicians are corrupted. Uh, you know, Corporations are corrupted at the high levels. In some way, shape, or form, corruption has crept into so much of what we do. And it's probably the number one problem in the world today, and always has been, corruption. So he brings up the point that of dehydrated food or freeze-dried food. I'm thinking of getting some 25-year food, and I'm thinking of planting a garden. And I told my wife we should do something. We got to supplement something. Everything's so high. And I talked to him about that we did some gardening last year, even though our yard is very small. We planted some stuff and we had some success. And then he brings up the water situation. He mentions two things other than actually his house, which we know he has a house. So I know he has shelter. He knows he has shelter. But what are the next two things that came up? food and water. Food and water. The two things we need, particularly water, to sustain our lives. 3 days without water and you're dead. Weeks without food, give or take, up to 3 weeks without food, depending on how hard you're working or what kind of stress you're under, you die. So he brings up, and I said, yeah, I says, D, that food is good. It lasts, up to 25 years. It's good to have a backup. It's good to have a garden. As far as water goes, I said, it's good to have, and he brought up about, I think I'm going to put this, I saw this at one time where the water comes off your gutter and it fills up a barrel and blah, blah. And he was making a really big thing about it, like it was a big, giant project. And listen, if I could do it, anybody could do it because I'm not mechanically inclined. So I volunteer to tell him that, hey, on my house, I bought one of these, little $20 adapters that go on the leader pipe that comes off your gutter. And all I did was I made a little template. You cut a notch out of the leader pipe and you put this apparatus in. It sticks on. It's got a little wiggle room in it so you don't have to be exact with your measurements. And then it's got a little thing that comes off the side, and you could open and close it by taking the cap off. And when it rains and the water comes down into your gutter and down the leader pipe, you could divert it with a little hose into a garbage can or a barrel or a paint, a clean vessel. And he's like, really? And I says, yeah, I did it. And I said, listen, I get a big rain here in the Charlotte area. We get these big storms. I says, you could fill up a 30-gallon bucket, depending on the storm, in a few minutes, and put it aside, put another one under. I said, and all you have to do with that water is boil it or just run it through a filter, and it's ready to go. It's ready to wash clothes with, to drink with, to clean with. And he's like, oh yeah, I gotta, so people, the moral to this story is, are you seeing people like that are talking about, hey, I'm thinking about getting ready for something. I feel something big coming. I see something bad coming down the road. Okay? So there are people that are getting ready for things. My dog's here, somebody, probably the landscapers. So people are getting ready. Some are. Some people are thinking about getting ready. And so I'll see him again, walking the dogs and down at the gym, and maybe I'll talk to him a little bit more. But what are you seeing out there? Are you talking to people? These topics coming up, the war that's going on, the corruption that's taking place, the utter disregard for our borders, people wanting to put food and water together to get them through a hard time. What are you seeing? That's the video for today. Let me know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay ready. Anthony signing off.